Eradicator.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. It's Erad, and now we are going to react to a video from LawoftheWest. Now, one of the OGs content creators for Star Citizen. This is really awesome to see. He is back. He is making more content, and that's really something useful, right? Since we're going to be playing with the Argo ATLS later on stream, I think that this is a really good fit here for what we are going to be doing a little bit later. And this video is called Star Citizen, What Does the ATLS Fit Into? So yeah, really kudos here to LawoftheWest for doing some science and trying this out for us. Let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm LawoftheWest. And for this video, I'm going to be going over what kinds of ships you can use to transport the Argo ATLS.
Nice.
Now, there are a ton of them that can transport this little hangar buddy, so I'm going to skip over the obvious things like every large and capital class ship that we already know it can fit into.
Yeah, like the C2 Hercules, right? It definitely makes sense, of course. Can it fit in, I don't know, can it fit in a Cutlass, for example, right? That would be nice. Can it fit in, say, a Reliant?
So you don't need to ask if it fits into the Hammerhead, Reclaimer, Constellation Series, Starfarer, Caterpillar, 890 Jump, Carrack, 600i, Hercules, or the 400i, because the answer is yes to all those. What I am going to focus in on is small ships and some of the medium-sized ones and a couple of vehicles. First on the list is the Cutter. And all the Cutter variants can carry an Atlas, including the Rambler, which has the worst vehicle transport abilities out of all three of them.
the Cutter Rambler can also carry it. Nice. I like how it's big, like straightforward. It's like the worst transport capability of all the ships, but it still fits in the Argo ATLS. Okay, cool. Nice.
You can walk up the ramp without any issues, and you'll be able to get out of it and into the ship without any problems. After I did this, I thought to myself, what about the Banu Defender?
No.
And at first I couldn't get it in, but just before I was about to give up, I tried turning the Atlas to its side and began crab walking my way into it. And much to my surprise, it actually worked.
Oh my god, in a Banu Defender?
You can close the ramp and get it back out again. So why would you want to do this?
Yeah.
Well, that's not really up for me to decide. I'm just letting you know that the option's there in case you want to use it. And if the Defender was on the list of viable candidates, then what about the Terrapin?
Oh, the Terrapin.
So I tried it, and unfortunately it was not happening. Even if you turn it sideways, you're not going to get it in there.
Sorry for all of you Terrapin lovers. I know lots of people love the Terrapin. I don't care so much about the Terrapin right now. And yeah, cannot fit the Atlas inside, but there's no really use because this ship doesn't even have any cargo capacity, right?
I also decided to try and see if one of the larger transport vehicles like the Spartan could be used to carry an Atlas.
No.
It's got a large back entrance, and I thought it could have enough space, so why not give it a try? And unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. I did try to leave it on the ramp while I took off, and this is what ended up happening.
Yeah, it didn't work so
well.
well.
The attempt with the Spartan inspired me to try this with another vehicle, so I got my hands on a default Cyclone. You know, the one that has a ramp and an open area in the back?
Mm-hmm. I like that ramp, by the way. It's like a little trunk where you put stuff in the back. That's really cool.
Unfortunately, once again, this wasn't going to happen.
Oh, no.
I couldn't even walk it up the ramp sideways. There's just not enough space for it. And another potential candidate was the Pisces.
I tried a Pisces.
I know that a lot of people would be curious about this one, so I tried it out, and I came to the conclusion that this was just not going to happen either. And the same goes for all of its variants.
Yeah, sure.
There are a lot of ships that have a lift that you can use to get up and into them. And the ships that I tried were the Mole, the Hull C, the STV, the Raft, and the Retaliator. And there's a whole bunch more that I didn't get a chance to test out.
Did it work? Are you? You're gonna blow up your ship if it gets stuck. The ship's gonna blow up.
Of all the ones that I did, all ended up with the same results. The STV and the Raft had such a shallow draft under the ship that I couldn't even get the Atlas under it, so that prevented me from even getting to the lift.
But what about the Mole?
But the Retaliator and the Mole were propped up high enough for me to be able to get to the lift. However, it still posed an interesting problem to overcome. You really end up needing two people to get it inside, and you'd use one person to get the Atlas onto the platform, and then the other one would be inside already, and they would even work the controls from the...
Because then it gets stuck, right? Or no one can get on the elevator when you do that, right? You cannot activate the elevator, huh?
The top, or use the controls from the pilot's console to pull the lift in. Okay, so why do you have to do this? It's because if you ride the lift up with the Atlas, it will kill you.
I died! He does. That's so funny. Oh, he died doing that.
Also, I found that once it's inside the ship, it'll often get flung from the lift and end up being stuck somewhere inside the ship. So I really wouldn't advise using any of these ships to try and transport an Atlas.
Yeah, I mean, why would you do that, right? But that's good. I love that. This is the kind of video that I love here. Law of the West, I'm so glad you're back. The OG content creator for Star
It
Citizen.
may sound like a good plan, but it really doesn't quite end up working out like you had hoped. So that left me with a hull C, and to make a long story short, it wouldn't even let me get it onto the platform.
Oh, it doesn't. What if he crabbed
In
walks?
case you were wondering, the Atlas does not fit into the underslung cargo bay that all the ships in the 300 series have. And you can technically use a tractor beam to pull it directly into the 300i's cabin, but that can be pretty messy, and I wouldn't recommend trying it. It usually just ends up popping out onto the ship's roof.
That's so funny. It's on the ship's roof.
Another ship that a lot of people owns the Avenger, and the Atlas isn't going to be able to fit into it.
Oh, no.
At least for now it can't, because out of all the ships that I tried getting the Atlas into, it really looked like it should have been able to fit into this one. But some wonky collision was keeping that from happening. The Core was the other ship
Yeah,
that
some
looked
of
like
the
the
old
Atlas
ships
really should have been able to fit into it. But some odd collision was keeping it from making its way into the ship.
That's really interesting because these are the oldest ships of Star Citizen, right? And it seems like these old ships are made in a different way that makes them having this collision box that doesn't look very realistic.
A lot like it was with the Avenger. Well, I kind of knew the answer as to whether or not the Vanguard could be used to transport an Atlas
No way,
before I even
right?
tried, but I had to do it anyway. And it turned out just like I thought it would. The Atlas is way too wide to get it inside, and in case you're wondering, going in sideways doesn't work either.
It's probably going to be the same for the Redeemer.
And I know this was going to be something that a lot of people were going to want to know the answer to, especially after seeing pictures like this.
Some people are turning the whole A into a transport ship.
And in case you haven't already guessed, it's can you stick an Atlas to the side of a hull A?
No.
And I tried, but no luck. This would have been a funny one if it worked. And the devs have already prepared us for the fact that the hull A wouldn't be able to do things like that. But somewhere in the back of my head, I could hear my brain screaming, try it anyway.
Yeah.
Here's one that came as a surprise.
Okay, what's this here? What are we looking at? It's the... What ship is this? The Herald?
Doesn't fit into the back of a Vulture.
Oh, it's a
It
Vulture.
looks like it should, but it doesn't.
Oh.
Even if you try to go in sideways, forwards, backwards, or any way, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's
I was a
just too
little
close,
disappointed
right?
to find that I couldn't even plop it down on the catwalk that's outside the flight deck. And someone asked me in the comments section of one of my other videos if the Mercury Star Runner could hold an Atlas while it had a full load of cargo. And the answer to that is yes. You can actually hold a couple of them if you put them in between the cargo and the ramp, or near the lift that goes up to the ship, or at the entrance of the secret room that's on the left side of the cargo bay.
Yeah, there's really a lot of space in the MSR.
One thing that I personally wanted to check out was the Valkyrie.
Oh,
And I don't
nice.
mean if it fits into the main cargo area, but I wanted to see if it fit under the overhang that was above the ladder that leads up to the hab section.
Oh, no, it
And
does not.
Nope, unfortunately it does not.
Yeah, the Valkyrie seems
It
like a good
definitely fits into
option.
the back of the Nomad, which surprises nobody. In fact, hang your head in shame for even asking. Shame. Shame.
Shame.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm getting punchy. I've been doing this all night.
Is he doing the DG360? Shame, shame. Someone's watching DG too much. All right, what are we looking at here? Cutlass, C1, and Freelancer. Of course, it
And
fits in.
lastly, I think at this point it's common knowledge that it fits into certain ships like the Freelancer, the Cutlass, and the Spirit. And although I feel that the Spirit and the Cutlass don't need it because both of those ships already have a tractor beam, but it's going to be nice for the Freelancer owners to know.
I don't agree here. Law of the West. I think that the tractor beam is still annoying. Well, it's still much better than using a max lift, for sure. But let's say you don't want to be using the mouse wheel, right? You just want to do the point and click. The Atlas here is the solution.
Know that they can carry one because they're the ones who are going to need it the most. So that's going to be it for this edition of If It Fits, It Sits. Hopefully this helped to answer some of the questions that you had as to whether or not the Atlas fits into one of the vehicles that you have or were thinking of getting.
That's good. Great video here, done for science. That's absolutely awesome, guys. Law of the West is back. He's got 31,000 subscribers, but because he's been putting not a lot of videos these days, he should be putting more. Go subscribe to him. I am subscribed, right? Yes, I am, of course. And I'll put the link to the description as always. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you guys in the next segment.